Hey friends, welcome to the part 16 of this playlist. We are looking at some of the real certification questions on DevOps Professional. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. It will help you. You can stay tuned to the latest cloud certification contents. This channel is all about only cloud certification, AWS, GCP, Azure, and Snowflake. If you are wondering where is part 15, so part 15 is for Cloud Kernel and Cloud Ninja members. For a very small premium, you can get these memberships. Please click the join button below this video, or you can see in the description of this video. Cloud Kernel will give you access to basic and intermediate certifications. Ninja will give you access to basic, intermediate, and advanced certification. Advanced like AWS Solution Architect Professional, AWS Data Analytics, and so on. Now let us jump into the questions. See, there are two event notifications set up, okay, on the S3 bucket. So event notification means if something occurs, then you will get email or SMS alerts. What is that something? That something is like if you are using a put action. What does put do? It will write an object. For example, it will write a file to the S3 bucket example. So what will happen is if they write any file which is a .csv, then you should invoke lambda function. Okay, and if your extension of the file is .xlsx, you should invoke sns topic. So sns topic means through sns topics you can send emails because it is a pub sub service. So based on a event, you are telling sns, hey, you know what, I have now received an xls file, let me send an email to abc@gmail.com, or let me send an sms to 449922, something of that sort. That is the phone number. Okay, so that is the story. Now out of these two events, no, the first event works where it will invoke lambda, that works, but the second event is not working, because when this file with extension comes, it is not able to invoke sns. That means it is not able to send emails, send messages, so on. So we have to explain why this is not invoked. When we are putting excel sx files in the bucket, why it is not invoked? See, A is really silly because S3 console you can put multiple notifications. So this is a bit silly and very obvious. Now this can be a reason, option B, where it says that probably permissions are not there and it requires proper permissions. So if permissions are not there, then it will not send the messages. This can be correct, but let us look at C and D also. So C is another one where the option does not look correct, because it is saying that only lambda will have the precedence. So in this scenario, if we have lambda and SNS, that means in this life never will SNS be able to send message. So that cannot be correct, right? That looks a bit silly. It is similar to like if someone says, hey, if you have not passed your engineering from Indian Institute of Technology IIT, then you will not get a job. That is not true. So D is saying that hey, you know what, if events happen, you cannot uh, you can invoke lambda, but you cannot invoke SNS topics, which is not correct. So we spoke about put events, right? So you see here ACL put events. So these are the list of event. If you remove an object, okay, if you are replicating an object, so these are the set of events which is supported. So this is elaborate. Plus you see you can use SNS topics. You can put the messages in SQS queues. you can use lambda. So you see this 3 you can use it. So SNS is there, SNS you can use. So that is why D is wrong, because D is saying SNS cannot be used as destination, but we saw in the documentation that SNS can be used. You see this, SNS can be used. So this is my answer. Now let us look at the next question. See, in this question, no, you have two actors. One actor is S3 bucket, the other actor is storage gateway. Now we all know in S3 we can store objects. It can be file, video file, audio file, anything. And what is storage gateway? So storage gateway is like, suppose this box, no, this is your on-prem OP, and this box is your cloud, that is AWS. So if your data is here, right, this is where you have data on S3 and your applications are here, then these applications can access the data. This guy can go here and say, hey, give me the data, and this guy would give the data, and the application, in this application you can see the data. In this question what is happening is, uh, you are not able to see the data here. That is why your application is saying, hey, I don't have the data. But then when you as a DevOps engineer try to investigate, what will you do? First thing, you will go here and see in S3 bucket, do you have data? Yes, boss, you have data. Then that means that data is not visible here. Here it is not visible. So what should we do now? In order to make it visible, what should we do out of these four options? So if you look at C, it is saying that, boss, you convert storage gateway, no? Storage gateway currently it is used in file gateway mode. What is file gateway mode? So in this file gateway, you can store the file data with local caching. See, using file gateway, no, you can store file data in S3 and access it. So on AWS cloud, you have this S3 bucket, and you also have a storage gateway service. This in between, then you have on premises, you have a file gateway. This is how it talks. And you have volume gateway, because your option here is telling that convert it to a volume gateway mode. See, with volume gateway, what will happen is, volume gateway, that means the entire data itself is in on premises. Okay, or there are two types, either you use cache mode or stored mode. In volume gateway stored mode, entire data will be on premises, so that is bad, right? Because you don't want your data to be on premises, because that will increase your data management cost, storage cost, because you will need hardware to storage, and you will have to increase the hardware, so that will be pretty high, plus it will take a lot of time to add hardwares. And you also have cache mode. So cache mode means, the data will be in S3, but whatever data is frequently used will be in the cache locally on premises. See, that way file gateway is far better than volume gateway. We do not want the data to be stored on premises, because the question is saying they don't want that. Okay, and because they already have S3 available. That is one. Now here they are saying option B, that you tell third party to put data in S3 bucket using SFTP. The problem, see, first of all, uh, you have headache, and this guy option B is like, do you have pain in your leg? Because there is no linkage. The problem is not on S3. S3, you see this blue line, data is visible in S3. Data is not visible here. So why are you giving a solution where the problem is not there? So B is wrong. See, if I look at D, D is telling that we will use same region replication. to replicate S3 bucket and storage gateway. That means, see, these two replication, you don't need it. Storage gateway itself, its purpose is to replicate the data. Okay, it will help you access the data. Help you means you are here on premises. This is you. It will help you access the data which is kept here. So that is already done by storage gateway. Now why you want to add additional feature of replication? It's not required. S3 replication is to move data from S3 region 1 to S3 region 2, not for storage gateway. So we are left with this option A. This is the answer. So it is important to look at refresh cache. See, when we talk about the storage gateway, no, there is no need to use replication. The refresh cache will automatically take care of sync up between S3 bucket and on-premises. Please pause the video here and read this carefully. This paragraph is very important to understand the concept. So please pause and read this paragraph. So what these guys are doing is they will schedule a lambda function to run refresh cache. Refresh cache will refresh the storage gateway with the objects in S3. That way all applications can see the data, and this is the solution. So this would be my final answer. Now let us look at the next question. See, this question, short and simple. If EC2 instance is starting up and during initiation and launch it fails, support team should be getting an email. Simple. Support team should get an email. Simple. When we talk about email, what service did I explain? What is a service? SNS. So where do you see SNS being used? We see it here, option B, and we see it here, option D. So we will not even care. We will not even care to look at A. We will not even care to look at C, because A and C are not making use of email service. They are not sending email. Okay, it is wrong. Now option D, it is telling let us status check alarm. Let us create a status check alarm. And if the check fails, we will activate SNS, status check alarm. Status checks is for running EC2 instances. Status check is not for checking if instance has been launched successfully or not. If instances are running, it will check the status of all instances and say, hey boss, this instance status failed. So first we should launch an instance. The instance itself is not launched, then how will you put a status check alarm? So D is wrong and B is correct. So what B does is auto scaling group will be configured to send notification to SNS when failed launch instance occurs. You are trying to launch, EC2 is trying to launch, it fails. Then it will tell SNS, boss, I was trying to launch an instance, it failed. Can you send an email to the support team? It says, yes, I will send an email to the support team. Requirement met. This is our answer. See, DevOps is an interesting and an important certification. Anybody who is working on cloud should understand DevOps, whether you are an architect, data engineer. Many people think, hey, cloud practitioner basic certification is good. No, boss. It only tells you know something about cloud, but it clearly tells you cannot work on cloud platforms. You have to do intermediate certifications, bare minimum, like solution architect, associate, DevOps. If you are on a project, you will clearly understand why DevOps certification is important. Now please subscribe, because if you want to build a career in cloud, you want to clear certifications, you want to understand concepts, please subscribe. We are focused on helping people clear cloud certification on Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud, Azure, and Snowflake. There are tons of questions. If you become members in the membership area, there are tons of questions, all important questions. Okay, so those are not additional questions, those are very important questions. So if you want to become a member, you can join and become a cloud kernel or a cloud ninja member. This brings us to the end of part 16. Stay tuned, we will keep posting many more such parts. Please focus on utilizing year 2023 on building your cloud skills.